get started with A.J. Hinch. Start on the right here.
You talked before the game about the moment, the stage, and you were correct. It didn't look like anything, like they came out playing loose like we've seen them the last 2 months. But to jump forward just a little bit to
hold on, can I comment on that? Because like that's who we are, you know, and I don't want to gloss over that because I'm proud of this group because it's exactly who we are and exactly how we talk, and we talk about pressure on the bases, we talk about good at bats, we talk about passing the baton. I mean, all those things came through, you know, with Tarik on the mound too. So I don't think it's a small thing today in the first playoff game from a lot of these guys that it look eerily familiar to the last 2 months.
especially the last inning there. Did you have Baltimore flashbacks, bringing Bo into that one? Same
Oh, no,
situation?
you know what? I mean, listen, I know this team that we're playing. I know the coach cliche of like they're going to play their 27 outs, but they are. I mean, this is a very difficult momentum-built team to get through over and over and over again. And I thought our pitching staff did a really good job from Tarik to Vest to Holt. You know, and then Jason gets, you know, Foles gets in a good count against Jordan, and Jordan does Jordan things. And so that woke the building up, and all of a sudden off they go. So it's not coach speak to say 27 outs. Like, you got to get the last one. And until you get the last one, you know, nobody really feels very good and at this time of year.
We'll stay on the right with Jason.
AJ, what was the concern with Skubal when you went out there, I think in the sixth?
100% panic. Like, I'm going out there to watch, like, to see what's going on with this guy. It's just the same exact thing. In the sixth was different. I'm sorry, the first foul ball, or the ball off his glove, was the same exact thing that happened a couple of weeks ago. You know, he needed a second to capture himself. And then I saw him uncomfortable. Cramping was the main issue, and he felt like he was about, you know, to be in a full body cramp. So like once he could take a deep breath, I felt a lot better when he said the word cramp. And then, you know, and Jake asked him if he's got a couple more in him, and I'm not sure if he meant pitches or innings, but we took the pitches.
What impressed you most about, you know, that 3-run inning for you guys, you know, from, you know, Parker beating out the double play to Jake swinging 3-0? It seemed like a lot of stuff that have made you guys effective over the last.
Yeah, we just didn't try to do too much, and you know, we say this sometimes about not trying to be the hero and just play the game and see where it takes you. And you saw that with the 3-0 swing, not trying to lift and hit the ball to the train, but a good solid base hit. You saw the torque walk, which was a long at bat, and he was able to battle him to get, you know, at the beginning of that inning. You saw the Sweeney be aggressive. You just saw a lot of things that signaled that the guys understood the moment, and they understood that Fromber is not somebody that is just going to miss middle, and give you something easy to hit. The ball moves, it cuts, it sinks, it curves. He threw us some change-ups to some of our guys, and we continued to stay disciplined. I mean, Wenzel today, the Oppo base hit. Everybody loves Oppo base hits. They say that's good hitting. So I like that about our team, is we took a game plan and took it into the game, executed, stayed really disciplined, and put a guy on base every inning to put pressure on the other side to have to deal with that.
We'll go in the front to Christy.
We all see Skubal stuff, but what is it about him as a person that makes him so special as a baseball player?
He's all in. You know, he will do anything. He's intense, but he's under control. He's competitive, but he's a thinking man's pitcher. He's got weapons. I mean, he's the complete package of a guy that you want anchoring a staff. And as he's gotten more popular and more attention and more status, you know, within the game, he continues to work harder. I mean, before I came over here, I wanted to find him, and he was doing his arm exercises with our training staff. So he's all in. Like, it's not, he's competitive. You see him screaming off the mound, as competitive as he is. We see that every day, and I'm glad the baseball world gets to see that on the biggest stage of the year so far, because it's authentic and it's a real impact to our club.
Go in the front on your left.
What it means for you win a postseason game in this park like a visitor manager?
It means a lot for our team, to have a 1-0 lead. I think it doesn't matter. We wouldn't have cared where the ballpark is, who we're playing, what sentimental values there are. We're trying to win a series. I say that all the time at the beginning of a series, like, what do we have to do to win a series? And now we reset and get to the next game. So I'm proud of our group because we came into a really hostile environment, and it's one game, and we've got to continue to, it takes two to advance. And so we'll reset tomorrow, get the day game again, and get right back after it.
Go on the left with Cody.
AJ, can you walk us through your thinking when you brought in Foley rather than stick with Holton to face Alvarez and then get Foley the ninth?
Yeah, I mean, 3-run lead. Jordan, if I send Holton back out there, he's got to get to Bregman. And then there's, I'm not saying this would happen, but the worst case scenario is first and second or first and third or second and third, and you're bringing Foley into the loudest stadium in baseball. So we thought the clean inning, and having Jordan as a tough matchup. Jordan's tough on everybody. There is no good matchup on him, and if I sent him out for one, I had to send him out for another with the 3-batter rule. So that took us to Bregman, and that took the potential for the tying run to come to the plate when Foley's coming in the game, as opposed to just one runner if Jordan got on. So he got in a great count with Jordan. He got, a ball he didn't quite get. Riley gave a great effort, but you could hear everybody wake up when he got on second.
Go on the left, third row.
AJ, you said before the game that you talked to the team yesterday about the noise, what the environment, what to expect, that sort of thing. Did you talk to him just now a little bit ago about that ninth inning and that being playoff pressure, surviving the tip ball and the dirt, that sort of thing, just trying to navigate all that?
No, I think the best thing we can do is live it and learn. I think our guys understand because it's not, again, like, I'm not trying to overplay this, but we've been playing these kind of games, close games. I think we led baseball in one-run games. We've been playing, kind of Game 7 mentality, everybody available for a while now. We've been trying to take every single little advantage matchup-wise, is why you see us hit in the 4th or 5th. You see us bring guys in for one single batter whenever it's 2 outs and nobody on. I mean, we're going to grab every matchup advantage we can. And so by playing that and practicing that and preaching that, today's just another day for us. It's how we've gotten here, and I have a club that's very aware of how we're good and why we're good.
Stay in the back left.
AJ, you stuck with your platoon guys and Andy and Justin Henry, and they put together some pretty good at-bats. How good was that to see them kind of rise?
It's big for us. It's big for us. I mean, there's just the way that Joe managed against us. You saw them always paying attention to where Karp was with the left-hander. They bring in Hader at the end. Ferguson comes in. King comes in. There's no secret that a lot of our hitters are left-handed, and they've got to pay attention to them. Riley obviously as well. Colt when he got in there. So the other side of that is it's important for us to to be able to defend the left side of a bullpen with our right-handed hitters or left-handed starters. So I think, it's for those of you guys that have been around us, you've seen Andy be almost an automatic hit. You've seen Jahan do a lot of damage. That's not how September went for either one of them. So, but just because it didn't work or didn't work out or they weren't in a great place in September doesn't mean when the calendar flips that they can't get right back to who they really are.
Go on the back right.
You mentioned a little bit ago the loudest crowd in baseball. I'm sure the people here love to hear that. Did you get any flashbacks to your time here once things livened up in the 9th inning?
Not during the 9th inning. I mean, I can reflect back after the game, but I'm pretty locked in when I manage. So no real room for sentimental emotions. We're trying to get to the 27th out. I'm in a completely different dugout. I'm wearing this uniform. I don't need to relive my time here. I live here. I hear about it all the time. Every time I come back, it is a topic, and I appreciate the support that I get, even on a tough day, for fans to cheer for me because I'm in the opposing dugout as the opposing manager. But direct answer to your question is I'm pretty locked in the 9th inning and not worrying about my past.
We'll go on the right to Alden.
AJ, were there any early signs for you, either early in his start or in the days leading up to it, that Tarik was going to be in the right frame of mind going into his first postseason start, and that he was going to have that attack mentality today?
What I liked about the time leading up to his start was he was laser focused on Sunday to get us in the playoffs if we needed it, and didn't even talk playoffs or didn't talk about Tuesday until after we clinched. And actually that night that we clinched, we didn't talk a lot about the playoffs either. We celebrated the hell out of that accomplishment. So that was his lead in. He was locked in on starting on Friday. He's the same. You know, this start today, I know it's on a grander scale and it's in front of a big crowd, both locally here and our fans and the country. But we've seen a lot of these Tarik Skubal starts. Like, this is not an outlier. This is why many people refer to him as one of the best pitchers on the planet.
We'll go one more over here on the right.
AJ, quite a playoff baptism for Brisky there in the ninth to come into that situation. Can you talk about what you saw out of him and your viewpoint on Caratini's ball and Hayward's?
Yeah, so I'm not even sure that's the tough. I mean, it's the toughest environment that I probably brought him in. I'm not sure it's the toughest situation. I think second and third and nobody out with our season on the line in Baltimore was an even tougher situation. So he's battle tested. But when I've seen the one benefit of having managed here is the ballpark view. I can see where balls are going, and I actually thought Jordan's ball was going to be able to be caught. It was almost caught, and most of our guys thought Bregman's ball was gone. They thought Jordan's ball was gone. Like, they're not quite. They don't have that experience with the balls in the air. I thought Caratini's ball was going to be caught. I did have to check to see where torque was on Hayward's. I couldn't see quite how hard he hit it. I saw the looping liner, and it was right at torque, and I had a pretty good vision on it. But obviously, bases loaded, game on the line. Hayward taking monster hacks. The count getting deeper. Well-placed defense. Good job, Joey.
Hey, Tarik, it's your first postseason start against the Astros, maybe the best team the last 10 years in postseason.
Yeah.
How you feel about that? I mean, it's a hard team with against the Tigers. Maybe it's your best day of your life, probably.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great environment. Obviously, the history with this team, 7 straight ALCSs, I think that, it speaks for itself, right? The guys that they got over there, too, a ton of talent. They handle left-handed pitching really well. So, it was a good challenge. It was fun. It was a ton of fun. I enjoyed it. It's probably the most nervous I've been since my debut. So that was also fun to deal with, But, what a game. It was fun. Glad to come out with a win.
Go to Cody in the second row.
Tarik, AJ said you were dealing with cramps there in the sixth. Is that right? And then what allowed you to finish that inning?
Yeah, I mean, just cramp, left hamstring. I've had it before. And for whatever reason, that's where I cramp, when I kind of get dehydrated. But, yeah, I mean, I feel fine. I'm not really worried about it going forward. But that at-bat probably went longer than I wanted it to, and then having to get another out. But it's okay. I feel good now.
Go to Michael on the right, middle.
Hey, Tarik. AJ Hinch said the plan after you in the series is chaos, relying on a bunch of different guys. What gives you confidence in the group of pitchers around you to be able to pull this off as a group effort, so to speak?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, those guys have been doing it for the last month and a half. Just mixing and matching, coming in any situation, any scenario, doesn't matter. Straight from Toledo right into leverage innings. They've been doing a great job at it too. It doesn't matter who's taking the ball. They come in and make pitches, and I think it makes AJ's job really fun when we have guys like that down in the bullpen that are able to do that. And I think it, makes the other team's job really hard too. There's no rhythm, there's no flow. You kind of disrupt timing, get guys mix and match different looks, and I think it's to our advantage for sure.
We'll stay in the middle, right behind Michael.
You were able to put together 2 5-pitch innings. When the cramping comes, just how frustrating is it maybe that you had that momentum going and you're going back and forth, and I'm assuming you obviously expected to be in a lot more before the cramping started?
Yeah, 5-pitch innings, you take it, right? First inning was 5 pitches, and I think, the 5th was 5 pitches? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take that. I'll never complain about that. But, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. I don't really know what I can do I hydrate enough. Nutrition's fine. It's just Probably a product of trying to throw every pitch pretty hard, and I'm a heavy sweater as it is. So, yeah, I mean, I come out of the game whatever, but we ended up winning, so it doesn't matter.
Go on the right to Alden.
Hey, Tarik, how were you able to add as much break to your changeup as you did this year? And how much of a separator do you think that was?
Oh, yeah, that pitch has been big for me. You know, I face a ton of right-handed hitters, and the lefties that you get are going to be really good left-handed hitters. So that pitch has been huge for me just to get something that goes away from them. And, you know, I still have spin in my back pocket too and a fastball. And but it's been big for me. And it's, you know, it's a credit to the pitching staff and kind of all the technology and stuff that they got and kind of get their hands on me. And I trust those guys with a lot. And I ask a lot of them too, and they always, you know, respond. So I think it's a credit to what we got going on as an organization.
Change for you?
Slightly. Kind of a cue change. Just like a mental does that make sense?
Go on the front here.
Tarik, you said you were as nervous as you'd ever been since your debut.
Yeah.
How were you able to smooth it out, calm down, and how quickly did you feel like not nervous?
That's a good question. I think once you start playing catch and start just like getting your routine done, it kind of goes away. But you know, definitely leading up to it, you're nervous. And I think being nervous is good because it means you care about what's going on. So I always think it's a good thing. But I think, you know, my debut I probably handled it the wrong way. But this time, you know, you kind of learn from those things, and I'm able to go out there and just worry about executing pitches. You know, that's when I'm at my best, and breathe, execute pitches. That's all you can do when you're out there. So. But, yeah, once I got off the mound and, you know, fired my first pitch, I think all that stuff kind of goes away.
Tarik, one of the few times that you got in any kind of trouble, you two guys on and you punched out Pena and then Caratini. Can you kind of take us through those at-bats, especially the way you set up the changeup on Pena and then the 101 or the 100-mile two-seamer in on Caratini that looked like it took his heart out of the fight there?
Yeah, that's Raj. That's Raj being Raj back there, you know, just having trust in the catcher. That'd be a good question for him, to be honest. I shook one time, and it was 117 back up the middle, so I stopped shaking the rest of the game. And it almost killed me. So, yeah, I learned my lesson. I'm not shaking. I'm just throwing whatever he throws. So,
Stay on the right with Jason.
Tarik, what was the key to using the Astros' aggressiveness against them, knowing how they approached you, you know, early in the season?
Yeah, I think you got to, you know, as in my shoes, those guys swing early and often. They put the ball in play. They don't punch out a ton. So you got to be relentless at throwing strikes and getting ahead because that's, you know, I think when you get behind, that's when the damage starts happening. So understanding that, you know, but executing pitches from pitch one and, you know, being relentless in that and continue to getting to leverage and keep the pressure on them just as much as they're trying to put the pressure on me. So that's where I was at kind of mentally with all that.
Anything else for Tarik? We'll go to Christy in the front.
After that last strikeout you had, you showed quite a bit of emotion. Would you be able to take me to that moment and kind of what all was going through your mind when you knew your day was done and you'd had a great performance?
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, there's part of it that you kind of black out, and that just happens. But yeah, it was a big pitch. I think, you know, and later in the game, we're still up 3-0. A team like that can come back at any moment with a couple swings, you know, especially with, you know, the dangerous guys they got, especially at the top of the lineup. So, yeah, it's just emotion. That's how I play the game. I feed off of it, and was able to make some good pitches, especially after a long Bregman at bat.
Start with Chris on the right here.
Hey, Jake. I asked Skubal this question. He told me to ask you this question, which I knew he was going
Weird,
to.
yeah.
But one of the few times he got in trouble, he had Pena, he struck out Pena, and he struck out Caratini. Can you talk about the way you set up the changeup? I know you guys were attacking him with changeup, but you set it up in that at bat, and then the 100-mile-an-hour two-seamer that, you know, in on Caratini that led to the
Right.
chase on the strike three.
Yeah, it's just kind of what he's done all year. You know, in big spots, we kind of, you know, he's got 100 in the back pocket, which makes everything a whole lot harder to hit. But yeah, we kind of went hard in on Caratini maybe 3 times in a row, and then I was just kind of setting up away and see if we can get some chase, and we did. Yeah, I think that's just Scoop, you know, being able to command that inside, you know, no one likes to get hit, and we're not trying to hit anybody, but, to be able to throw inside these days is a huge opportunity to get some chase away.
Stay on the right with Jason.
Jake, you rarely swing 3-0, put the ball in play like that. Was that an adjustment to the situation, or just some expectation that you were going to get a pitch hit?
I told the guys, I was like, man, and I think I told you, I think I swung 3-0 other time this year, and got out. And I was like, man, I don't think I'm ever going to do that again. But against Framber and with his good stuff, I knew I was going to probably get a heater somewhere over the plate. So I was just trying to be a little bit aggressive there, and got a hit up the middle.
Go to Cody on the left.
Jake, overall, what was the approach against Framber? Seems like you guys made him work 1 through 9, and a lot of opposite field hits for you. Still a big part of the field. Yeah,
he's got a great sinker, and staying out the middle of the field is huge against him. And kind of staying through the ball, because you pull, especially righties pulling off of it. Gets some ground balls like he's really good at. Has a really high ground ball rate with all his pitches, but yeah, we got it. We did a good job staying through the heater, and after that, did a good job adjusting to his breaking ball. We just had great at bats. We got him deep into some counts and kept fighting him off, and found some barrels and some timely times.
AJ said when Skubal started cramping in the 6th, you went out and said, do you have a few more in you? Mm-hmm. What was that conversation kind of like for you?
Yeah, he went out and said he thought he felt a cramp, and I said, just give me one more. And then obviously Bregman, I asked for one more, and he got 2. But yeah, I just said one more, and then we got you after this. And I think, and he just shook his head yes, and away he went. Those are some big pitches right there, and to get through that, we got 3 great guys coming out of the bullpen after him to shut it down. But yeah, I just kind of looked at him and said, hey, just one more, that's all we need, and he was on board.
Go to Chris on the right.
How much did Bo's situation remind you of Baltimore, and how impressed with you? This has never been his role, in his baseball career, right. And he's coming up big in these leveraged situations.
Yeah, I think Baltimore was a huge help for him. He's been put in some really, probably the biggest situations these last couple weeks, and it's come through. He came in today and looked, was focused, and yeah, he fell behind a couple of times, but after that he was filling up the zone, and he's been great for us all year, really. He's been put in several roles, whether that's been starting and opening, and then 2 or 3 in the middle to here he is in the 9th, coming up against some great hitters to get out in the 9th. So that's a tip of the cap to him for just being prepared for any type of situation and attacking the zone when he needs to.
We'll stay on the right, Matt.
You played with some of these Astros players in the low-level minors. Does that make this experience any different for you than it normally would?
Yeah, I always like playing here. Even a lot of the staff coached me throughout the minor leagues. I'm going to forget some, but, like Jason Bell, Troy Snicker, Omar Lopez, and I played with Framber, and I was roommates with Ronel Blanco and Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. So a lot of these guys were my close buddies coming up, and I always love seeing them. They're great people, and like competing against them too, because they're great players. But I think it makes it special just to know those guys. And baseball's a small world, but for those guys to be doing well and see their success, and it makes it fun to come here and see those guys.
Go to Alden on the right.
Hey, Jake, Tarik was really filling up the strike zone early on. What did that let you know about just sort of what his mindset was going into this first postseason starter?
No, he's done that all year. His strike zone rates for all his pitches has been elite all year, which just speaks to his confidence in his pitches and confidence in his game plan and my game plan. He's been great all year. It's his mentality is like, here it is, hit it, and he's got great stuff to back it up, so that helps. But yeah, I think him commanding pitches in the zone has been his repertoire all year, and has done a really good job at it.
Anything else? Jason on the right.
We've talked a lot about you guys going first to third so often. We haven't talked to you a whole lot about it. Were you thinking you were going to get the third off the bat on Sweeney's ball, or was that kind of reaction?
Yeah, I was going to go, hopefully just a draw throw, and then, score a run out of it. But he ended up throwing home, and Parker got in safe, and I got in safe. It was kind of what happened was kind of, the perfect situation. yeah, I was going to go off the bat, hopefully just to draw a throw and get, and score a run there. But it worked out perfectly. And yeah, but we've been preaching it and done a really good job at it these last few months of going first or third and just being aggressive. And I think I've said this before, but you see a catcher going first or third and make it. Any other guys can do it. And I think that's just kind of a mentality we've had all year. Balls in the dirt, first or thirds. It's be aggressive because again, it's hard to make those throws from the outfield, and as a catcher, blocking and retrieving it is a really hard thing to do.